So I would like to uh, take this opportunity to discuss about one thing that as I was having a conversation with Sushma Mataji, something came up to my mind that I could discuss. See, what is the glamour in this Kali Yuga? Can somebody tell me with your own experience? What is some of the glamour that you see in this Yuga, especially in this modern age? What is that glamour? What do you think? Anything that comes to your mind when somebody says glamour?
Prabhuji, it's makeup industry.
Makeup industry, glamour, okay. Anything else that comes to your mind? Technology, very good. Lata Mataji.
Smartphone.
Oh, smartphones, very nice. What else? Okay. So just in general, I'm talking about modern world, modern age. What is the glamour that you find around you? So what is that you are always looking for, or you are always into it by default? Yeah.
Aishwaryam, Prabhu.
Aishwarya. Okay. So I was thinking about it, and I have heard somewhere also. In fact, that is true. With my own experience, the glamour in this Kali Yuga is basically coming from three things. Okay. Glamour. See, glamour is very attractive in one way. Glamour is very attractive. At the same time, it is not going to help you in any of your endeavors, but you feel that it is going to help you, or you are addicted to it. What comes to your mind when somebody says that this is what is glamour and it is addictive and it doesn't really help you? It wastes a lot of your time, and it takes away all your productivity. And but you are addicted, you are attracted. What is those two or three things that are on the top of your mind that you can think about when somebody says this? One or two. Again, you can repeat. Technology and inventions. Yes, Malti Mataji. What else? Sushma Mataji, what do you think? Chakrika Mataji, if you are there still. Behra Prabhu. Yeah, Kerala environment. Okay. Smartphones, intoxication. Yeah, that's right. Oh, okay. So they say that there are three brothers. First brother is Tom. I'll use this conventional. Thank you, Chakrika Mataji. So the first one is Tom, Dick, and Harry. We'll define what are these three brothers. The first glamour, which was a little older brother, he was the modern age TV. The TV is the kind of glamour that used to be. In fact, it is now also for some of the devotees who are here. I would say devotees, but still, some of the people around you see are still attracted to this glamour of Kali Yuga, which is what is Tom. I would say Tom, and he's the TV. And the TV, see, what happened is that on our culture, especially on our Indian culture, there was 200 years of rule by Britishers, and they did not destroy our culture as much as this TV has done. And the challenge was, these people, Britishers, did not were not able to destroy our culture, our ethos, but and at the same time, Mughals ruled us for more than 500 years, but they also did not really destroy our culture. But in 20 years of the invention of this idiotic box, that's what they said when it was invented in US, when the J.L. Barrett, I think his name was, who has invented that TV, J.L. Barrett. And that guy, when he invented, they said that this is an idiot box and it will take away all your productivity. And a lot of people did not buy it that time. So, but again, that what Britishers could not do, Mughals could not do in 200 years and 500 years respectively, in 20 years span time, the TV has done it. It has taken away all our culture. we are so much addicted to it. And then came John Barrett. Okay, I thought B.L. Barrett, John Barrett. Okay, so then came his next brother. He is much smarter, my brother, and he said, "What, you took 220 years to destroy the culture?" Then came internet, and that is the brother of you can say elder brother in one way, or younger brother, or a smart brother. And this fellow, the internet has not taken 20 years, but it just took a span of 5 years to destroy our culture. And then came the smartest brother, and we all know who is that smartest brother who destroyed our culture. Not in 5 years, not in 10 years, just in 1 year span, you get used to it, and it will destroy your entire culture. That is the smartphone. Very well said. So you might say now that why is that you're cursing the smartphone? See, I'll tell you what. Earlier in our, I remember my own village, and I'm a very fan of village in one way. I like to be in that kind of an environment, and each one of us like that environment, but we are forced to, or we have become like that. As I would not use the word morons, but still we are become like that. We are not, you wanted to have that kind of a nice environment, but we think that there is no choice, and we just have to be with. So earlier in my village, they used to have their dinner around 6:30, because there was no electricity. There was only small canteen lanterns were there, and they used to take their dinner, and after that they used to go get together. People used to all get together and used to hear Harikatha, the glories of the Lord, and his stories, pastimes. And they used to do bhajan until 9:15, 9:30 they used to do. And nicely they used to relax a lot, and with associating with the Supreme Lord. And then they used to go and sleep and wake up early in the morning. Not like we wake up at 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, and some people wake up at whatever time. So this is what is culture, and the entire culture is lost. Why? Because of the TV, because of the internet, because of the mobile phones. You just see, when TVs was there, what happened to us? We used to I remember when TVs were introduced, people used to wake up. They used to not go to sleep. They used to watch movies. And at that time, at least in my good and old days, when TV used to be there, only Doordarshan was there, black and white. And TV, we used to get movies only on Saturday and Sunday. And that too, on Saturday, I remember we used to get from national television one movie, and Sunday, I think we used to get from local Hindi Telugu movie. And only and there used to be a switch off time for the TV also. That means they were not in operation for certain hours. Now it is not like that, because of the internet and because of the channel bombardment. Anytime you see go open, there is a movie going on, there is something going on. So there is no end to it. And once you get the remote in your hand, just imagine what is addiction means. Can somebody define what is addiction? Anybody? How do you define addiction? Basic term.
Cannot live without it, Prabhuji.
Cannot live without it. Okay.
Habit, Prabhuji.
Habit. Habit is good. But what is this addiction means? Addiction and habit has got...
Our senses will not be in control, Prabhuji.
Huh?
You always want to see that only.
See, something where your mind is hijacked, or your intelligence is hijacked. I would say, put the other way around. I would say that when your intelligence is hijacked, and your mind is not in your control, and your mind is in control of the senses, then that is called addiction. So this is what has happened to us. I do not wanted to see TV. I do not wanted to see porno, all these nonsense websites which are there, or some serials which are only talking about nonsense, between one husband who has got affairs with some other multiple women, or a mother-in-law and Bahurani, that kind of an quarrels. All these movies, all these serials, that is all is there. But you do not, why are you filling the trash into your mind? I don't understand why people go into all these serials and put lot of trash. See, because your mind is so much addicted to the trash, you feel that, see, I'm not per se annoyed with or cursing others who are seeing these soap TVs and regular or whatever serials you have. But you see, that is what we all have become. So if you say, why am I not getting taste in the chanting? If somebody asks, the problem is this: your mind is not pure. It is garbage. You are putting a lot of garbage in. What will come out? What will you be? You will be the same. When you put garbage, output will be garbage only. It is in our computer technology world, we call it as computer. We define it as garbage in, garbage out. Whatever you put inside, that only will come outside. So we have become like that. So no pure thoughts coming in. We are not listening to any of the Harikatha or any spiritual kind of thing. Nobody is now interested, and we are very happy to see 20 of the participants coming this day and participating, but hardly anybody. You are one of the, I would say, luckiest or the fortunate of us. We are here. We are able to associate with like-minded people and keep our mind and intellect sharp and pure, and that is what we need to do. So what has happened is that this internet has taken 5 years and TV has taken 20 years to destroy our culture and our backbone, which is what we are known for, our culture. When Britishers wanted to conquer us, and they asked, how is that these people are so happy? All Indians, whenever I go to any nook and corner of India, any small village, they are very happy. How is that they are so happy? So then they did a lot of research. They sent a team headed by one guy who is none other than, what is that guy, who is the father of this modern education. Who is that guy? And he published a paper in the UK Parliament. Who is the person who's come up with this modern English education? Can somebody?
Macmillan.
Not Macmillan. Macmillan was not Macmillan. Anybody else?
They are called children of.
Anybody else who knows? Not Macmillan. Okay, so we'll remember that. Then we'll see it. Okay, so.
But we are his children. Sorry.
Okay, I'll talk about you also, Prabhu. So what happened is that his name is Ben Kingsley, not Ben Kingsley. Somebody can find it out. Okay.
Prabhuji, can I have the question again? I'm sorry to ask you.
Who invented this modern education, English education? Who brought it into India?
Macaulay. We are children of
yes.
Macaulay.
Yes, Macaulay. I was getting that. So this Macaulay guy did a lot of research, and when he came and he found out that how we can conquer these Indians, and we are not called Indians, but by the way, anyways, how can we conquer these people, colony people, so that we can rule over them? So that is where they did a lot of analysis, and they found out that what is their backbone, and if you can hit on their backbone and break their backbone, they should be able to become slaves. And that is what they did. So they said that these people's backbone are their ethos, why are they so happy is because their culture is so rich. Each and every villager, each and every those so-called people who are called as illiterates, they are also happy. How is that possible? And that is where our culture is. And see, once upon a time, these people came up and then they said, there used to be in our village, They used to be people who were working class people. And these working class people, they were called Palikapu. Somebody who is not known to Telugu, I don't have the right word to say Palikapu. Palikapu means he used to come early in the morning. They were not giving him money per se every year. They used to give them bags of rice and whatever is required whenever some function is to be happening in their house or anything, they used to give everything. That means this person is kind of dedicated to this particular family, and he used to be called, and that kind of a people used to be there. And so that is what the Varna used to be there. Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra. Shudra, these are all Shudra, meaning doesn't mean that they were outcast people. So these people are working class people, people who used to work. So that now what has happened in the villages, you know, this Shudra crash is not there at all. Because of the nonsense government policies, they have spoiled them. They are giving free money and without any work also you can get money. Who is going to work in the agriculture? Nobody. What they do then? They either put fertilizers or put some kind of a thing such that there is no manual labor involved. And getting manual labor is so difficult. So all put together, what I was saying is that this Macaulay has found out that if you can break their culture, and you know what did they do to break their culture, our culture? What are the things that they planned? This is all documented. I'm not saying something on my own. This has been published and he has presented in the UK Parliament. Macaulay, he has done a lot of research and they have systematically destroyed our culture. It starts with what? It starts with by destroying our Varna. So Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya and Shudra, Varna. So first and foremost thing what they did is that their culture is that they are dependent upon the spiritual education. By birth they have this. Birth they have this, meaning those people who are not educated, so-called not educated also know who is the Supreme Lord. And they know how to respect the elders. They know how to respect the authority. So this is what is education, real education. Can you think about a modern guy who is passed out as a BTech coming out of the college and respecting elders? No. Do they respect does he know who is the Supreme Lord, and does he respect our scriptures? No. He says that you are all old guys, you do not know anything. What Bhagavad Gita? What Bhagavatam? And they're why? Because of the education that he is getting, he doesn't know how to respect elders. He doesn't know how to respect or know little bit about our spiritual treasure that we have, which is Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam, and no respect to superiors. These three, if he is not doing, what education did he get? Just saying that he knows how to speak, he knows that how to write a few lines of code if he is a software engineer, which that also they are not doing. I know that I recruit people from colleges. They do 4 years of BTech computer science and they don't even know how to write 4 lines of code. Software code I'm talking about. So what education they are getting? So all this is because systematically this Macaulay guy has done, and his first and foremost thing what they do is that they wanted to remove this Varna from our culture. One. Second thing, they wanted to also Varna, if you wanted to destroy, what you need to do is you need to give some kind of a biscuits to the topmost people in our Varna. The topmost people were Brahmins. They gave important positions in their government jobs for these Brahmins, and slowly when they accepted the Britishers and they left their own what they are supposed to do, that give knowledge to others and pick up the slavery mentality of working under them, slowly the degradation started. Because degradation starts when the topmost leader, that is Brahmanas, were supposed to be the brain. When compared to the human body, the Varnas wise also, brain is the Brahmanas, and Kshatriyas are the Bhujas, because they are the people who protect. And the belly is compared with the Vaishyas because they give you food. And the Shudras were the working class people, they are compared with the legs. And these people have attacked these Brahmanas and they kind of converted them, saying that you work. If you see now also, if you go to Tamil Nadu, lot of people, and because initially East India Company was established there only, and their colony was, and those people accepted it, Tamil, because Brahmanas means first thing that comes to my mind, Tamil Brahmins. So these people were attracted and they gave a lot of big positions and they sold out. And that's where, and next thing, how did they attack our household level? I'll tell you what. So can somebody guess how did they attack the household level? In your home only they attacked. See, this is all systematically they did and it's all there documented. How did they attack next at your home level? How did Britishers come in? Can somebody guess?
They introduced coffee and tea and they...
Fantastic. So what they did is that they introduced tea.
Key.
East
They
India,
lock and key.
East India Company, when they came, there was no tea, what do you say, tea growing lands in our in India, because we are not using tea at all. So they imported tea from somewhere. East India Company was selling tea and they were distributing tea freely. And now what they systematic, see, just you may say that what tea is introduced, there are so many things that are introduced. How did they come to your home? How did they come to your homes? Can somebody tell me? How did they destroy our culture coming to our home with tea?
Tradition.
It
Okay.
reduces hunger.
What else? I'm looking for one root cause.
Instead of cow milk, they introduced buffalo's milk.
Yashoda Mataji is very, very intelligent. What they did is that, now also, when you wanted to take tea and when you wanted to make tea, it cannot be as the flavor wise, it doesn't suit with cow milk. So because that is cow milk is so pure, that is an impure addiction. The cow milk doesn't go with that. So they said, cow milk is not going to suit your tea. So take away cows. Bring what? Bring buffaloes in. That is where they brought in buffaloes. When cow was given out from your home, your destruction started there. You sent out your mother out. You know what? How the cow is more than a child in your home. It is more than a mother in your home. When somebody expires in their family, the first one who cries is the cow. You will not know the cow is so sensitive. It is part of your family. And you know what? The cows were placed in front of your home, not in the backyard also. Because whatever, there are so many kinds of people who come to your home. There are so much of animosity people come to your home. The bad influence come to your home. All to eliminate that, one cow is enough when you tie it in front of your home. It will remove all that. So that is what a cow does. And this is only, I should not say animal, but that is the only animal, but we should not say as an animal, but still the only animal which gives out oxygen is the only animal. In whatever it only gives you oxygen. So if you wanted to come out of leprosy, you wanted to come out of so many diseases, cow is you just go and do go seva. And you will come out of leprosy, you will come out of TB, tuberculosis. And cow dung has got so much of oxygen. And that's what your gobar gas and all these, how is they're producing. So much there. So point is that now what happened, Gomata has left your home. And where are you sending? And these cows have been sold out and to people to kill the cow. And why we call her a mother? Because you have drank somebody's milk and it is our mother. And shamelessly we are giving them to slaughterhouses and we are killing them. And people in the US, I've seen some Brahmanas, they used to be pujaris in temple. Now they are going and eating beef shamelessly. You are eating your own mother. I'm sorry, I'm little emotional, but point is that we have become like that. So we do not know the difference between what we are eating and what kind of sin we are incurring. So this is systematically done. And what are we doing now? And now the next kind of a addiction that we are talking about, that is, the culture has been broken. And whatever little bit of humanity that was there, this TV has taken out. And now the internet has taken out. And next thing is this mobile, smartphones. So I was designing a lot of mobile apps as part of my career while I was working with Microsoft, HCL, and Wipro, while I was in Seattle also. So used to come work for mobile companies. And they used to do a lot of research to find out how, when we design this particular mobile application, we can make this other person who is going to use addict to it. So this kind of a influence is what this mobile application do. You just see WhatsApp. So it has made you addicted to it. Mobile itself is addicted, smartphone is addicted, and these apps on and above it are making you addict to anything. The Facebook that you're talking about. So when you go to any of these, when I travel in any of the metros, hardly I am seeing anybody walking or keeping their head straight. Always like this. Why? Anybody?
Mobile.
Phones in their hands.
Phones in their hand, they are not able to lift their heads. One day I'm telling you, spondylitis is definitely coming. Why? Because of this. You are hardly able to put your head up. It will be like this only. What kind of a moronic situation we are facing? Just imagine, this is happening in front of you, and most of us are part of this. I'm not saying any of you, but now what is that we can do is what we need to think. And what happens with these mobile phones is what? I'll tell you what is the addiction with these mobile phones. And when you expose this to the children, and children's, I was seeing the other day when I was going in the train a few months back, there was a small girl who was like probably 8 months, not even 8 months. And she was so cranky. That baby was making her mother, she was dictating, and the mother has to do it. If not, what are you talking, like 8 months baby? And to make her calm, the only thing is that put the mobile and in front of her some games, some this thing, unless and until you give that to her, she's not calm at all. And what happens when you're doing these, playing on these games, when you're playing on these games, what are you doing is that you need to make fast decisions, left, right, and your brain is addicted to make decisions very fast, and your instant gratification should be there. Now, when I talk to my mother, I say that, mother, I'm thirsty. But when I'm thirsty, when I call my mother and say I'm thirsty, I need to get instantly my water. If not, I will just shout at her. Immediately I should get it. I'm hungry. Immediately I should get it. What mothers are doing, if I say to my kid saying that 20 minutes or 25 minutes it takes time to cook your food, so the boy or a girl is not ready to accept. Then what the mother does? 2 minutes. What is that? We get in 2 minutes.
Maggie.
So that nonsense we are eating. What is that? So this is the kind of a culture we have come, and our culture is destroyed. And I know there are a lot of doctors in this group who can also support me or contradict me for that matter. I, being a registered medical practitioner, I did my own work out of passion, out of the area that I am working on. And so now you talk about instant gratification, right? These cookers, the pressure cookers. Each one of you, I know, we are using pressure cookers. You know, just Google on internet. I was just doing it before I came. I know pressure cookers are not at all good for your health. How many of you can accept now? Because it has become part of your life. You'll say that, how is that possible? Without pressure cooker, how can I cook my dal? How can I cook my rice? How is that possible? Now, just think about it. 20 years back, 15 years back or 20 years back, were there pressure cookers? Were there not people eating food? Were they not using dal in their cooking items? Were they not having rice that they were not eating? How were they doing then that time without pressure cookers? So what happened is that this
They used to steam.
they used to do what, Chandrika? Yes.
Manvik.
Manvik. Oh, Sai Manvik, huh? Oh, okay. Who is Manvik again?
Unmute kar. Unmute kar.
Unmute.
Prabhuji, he is my son, Juhi.
Okay. I don't know now who is speaking here.
Juhi,
Juhi.
Prabhuji.
Oh, you have a son also, Mataji.
Yes, yes, Prabhuji.
Okay, you
And
didn't
today
bring
you
it.
have selected a good topic, so I asked him to listen.
You didn't bring him. You didn't bring him to the temple the other day, last week.
Yes, Prabhuji, I did not get him.
Okay, fine. So as Sai Manvik was also mentioning, so now the point is that these pressure cookers, what they do is that, see, how many of you are suffering with obesity and you do not want obesity? So a lot of you would say, yes, I do not want to have obesity, but again, we are getting it. I am reducing my intake, but still I am not able to reduce. These pressure cookers are one of the sources where obesity is coming. I'll tell you why. Earlier days, in our villages, I was thinking, why villagers, when they used to cook, how they used to cook rice, you know? Tell me, anybody? If those who are having little experience in village, how do they used to cook rice?
They'll remove the starch, Prabhuji. They'll cook only the.
So they see those people who are very hardworking, who are going to farm, that is fields, and they used to do a lot of hard work. Similarly, women also used to do a lot of hard work. They themselves decided that you should remove starch and then eat that rice. And what did these guys introduce to us? They said, these people are ignorant people. They don't know, they are villagers. You are removing starch means you are eating just nothing in the rice. So all the vitamins, this and that are gone. So why are you removing it? And they introduced these pressure cookers to us. And in the pressure cooker, the starch and the water remains in there and you will not remove it. That is where the problem is coming. If you don't believe me, for your belief, what I did is that I'll just share this quickly. I know I'm taking time. Probably some of you might not be interested, but still, let me share this. So this is what I asked. Google search. It's a simple Google search. Is there any difference in cooking in pressure cooker and without pressure? That is my question, because I know I have read in one of the authentic sources. This is what is saying. Why we should not use pressure cooker. It is believed that cooking rice in a pressure cooker creates a harmful chemical called acrylamide, which can lead to a lot of harmful diseases. Also, consuming rice prepared in a pressure cooker can cause obesity. When cooking in a pressure cooker, you don't remove the water from the rice, and that's lead to weight gain. This is very simple what I'm trying to say. But these people, whatever we call ourselves so modern, and in the name of modern education, we destroyed our culture, we destroyed our health, we destroyed our brain, we destroyed our intellect, and our senses. We know that they are not in control. What is this young students that they are going and doing activities outside? They freely indulge in whatever for sense gratification. Boozing is not at all a addiction these days. It is no shameful activity. And smoking has become their second nature. All this what? It is basically because there is no culture. Nobody is there to tell them that, hey, this is Bhagavad Gita, and this is Bhagavatam, we have to follow certain things to differentiate yourself between human beings and animals. Animal do not have sense control. It goes on the road, anytime it sees a sheep, dog, it can freely indulge. So that is what is happening to the boys and girls. Unfortunately, this is the situation we are in. And this addiction to the Facebook, and this is called e-addiction. So this e-addiction is so harmful that it throws away your and it brings you this abnormal behavior. Abnormal behavior that I told you, right? A small girl who is 8 months old, she is scolding her mother, she is beating her mother if a mobile phone is not given. And this mother also, they are also foolish mothers. And I was surprised. If you wanted to feed your 8 months old baby, if mobile is not in the front, she is not eating. And what is he focusing on? On that. And what is she eating? Eating with no reception. So what will happen? So when I eat something, if I am not attentive in eating, it will produce poison, because you are eating something, you are seeing something, and your mind is somewhere. So what is going to see for each and everything that you eat, that kind of an enzyme should be secret, or it should be released to cook that or to digest that particular food. So I am doing then something else. That is the reason why my father, whenever I used to eat, when I used to talk also something this and that, used to say, when you are eating, only do eating. Why are you talking about other things? Now you are seeing TV, you are seeing mobile while eating. This is all, I'm telling you, these are small things. We may say that this is all common. What is there? As I told you earlier also, small things make perfection, and perfection is not a small thing. And one has to really come out of this addiction, e-addiction especially. So what do I do now? Can somebody tell me, how do I come out of this e-addiction?
Take e-holiday.
E-holiday, okay. What else? Anybody else? Good. So that was Ramesh Prabhu, huh? Who said that?
The most unqualified Ramesh.
Prabhuji, tell me how many hours you are there on the e-addiction. Actually, this topic I selected for you. How many hours you tell me?
I can't tell that, Prabhuji.
It is becoming public now. So Prabhuji, I'm not asking others, but everybody is like that. You came out and you have the guts to what do you say? You have the guts to really tell that I am addicted to this. That means I'm addicted to this, that, whatever. But most of us are addicted to e-addicted. If my mobile phone is not there, how much time you will be just is it as if you got a brain stroke or a heart stroke, you are just struggling. So as Behera Prabhu nicely mentioned, you have to take break from your mobile phone. Don't keep it close. And lot of people are keeping it very close to their head while they are sleeping. So that is a very harmful on your. Then people say that I'm not getting sound sleep. And when I get up early in the morning, I'm not fresh. Why so much of before going to bed? What kind of a thoughts you are putting in? I'm seeing some nonsense serials. Am I doing any thinking about the Supreme Lord? Am I thinking any positive? Because it's garbage in, garbage out. So that is what. So my only intention is not to really make you depressed or to tell that whatever you're doing is wrong. But only thing is that be aware. At least be cognizant that this is what we are in. At least accept that. Once acceptance is there, then next thing comes is that, okay, now I have to do something, Baba. I am in it. I am suffering here. I am really addicted. How do I come out of it? Let me do something. Let me have some determination in my life. Let me stand for something in my life. So once you do this kind of a little bit of introspection about yourself, who am I? Why? What is my purpose in my life? What is this mobile going to do me? What is this amount of so much of slavery I am doing, going to office, and after coming home also I am doing the same slavery. They will give me 20,000 extra, 30,000 extra per month or per year, but still, why am I doing slavery? Don't I have life on my own? What is my purpose in my life? Can I not lead my own life the way I want it to be? Ideally, what I should really go for. So these are some of the introspections one has to do, and then make a decision in your life which will really take you to your destination. But you know that when you are going to die, you are going to die very, very pathetically. I'm telling you, because we got addicted to all these. So no communication with children, neither children getting communicated with the parents. I know so many of the elders who are there. A lot of people said a lot of their children are abroad, because these education, whatever we are getting, it is teaching you how to become selfish. How do I enjoy my senses? How I can disrespect and don't care about my parents? How do I disrespect and don't care about elders and culture and country and all this? So that is what it is. The entire so many colonies are there where elders are just living alone, but just pathetically looking for any small hope for phone call they may make from US. Forget about financial support. If there is any money left over, they just wanted to grab that from their parents. That's what it is. So I'm sorry that we had this kind of a topic, and I just went left and right on this. I can so I do not want to go in details now, but if anybody has any questions, we can take up, and we'll end for today. And one last conclusion is that please, you need to really introspect about yourself. The life that we are leading, that we are living in this, what do you call it as glamour in the Kali Yuga, which is what is filled with this TV, with this Facebook, with this internet, with this mobile. We are thinking this is your life, because most of the time that we are spending is only on this. And if we have to work also, we are addicted to that work and doing slavery. No family connection. It is like if I have to have some kind of a relationship with my wife or a husband, I'm just using them as commodities. They are just commodities for me, because that is what my education says, that use them as commodities. So that kind of a what do you say, this is called what kind of a culture is this? In economic terms they call it as some
Nakenti culture.
that in Telugu, but in economic terms this is called market psychology. In market psychology there is one more word. Basically it's commodity mentality. I pay this much, you give this much. I give you this, you do me this. So where is this relationship coming? And same thing is continuing with your so-called the spiritual ism that is spread. I go to the temple, I ask God, I came to you. Don't do it free. I will break this many coconuts. I will do this many pradakshinas and then fulfill my dream, my desire. Don't do it free. Go to a hotel and ask a bearer and come and say that give me 2 plates of dosa or 1 plate of idli, and you demand. Same demand you are doing going to a temple. What difference it makes? No difference. Only thing is that there also I am paying. Here also you are not doing it free. We are also paying you. I'll put something in the dakshina. I'll give this much to Annadan. So no relationship. So we are all have become like that because of our lack of education, lack of proper education, so-called education is still degrading us. Not even making us neutral, degrading us from our human nature to animal nature. So that's what we have become. And I would honestly and sincerely request each one of you to take this spiritual knowledge that we are providing as part of this Gita Subodhini and best utilize us. And we are not really out of this world people. We are also as part of this addiction, we are also there. But we realize that this is not one has to really be addicted to. And we are also coming out of it. and we also wanted to see that almost some of you who are got addicted, maybe some of you are not, but still you can also help others. So there are 5 areas where one has to focus, or 5 fitness, I would say. The first fitness is your physical fitness, because if you do not have physical fitness, but you will not enjoy your life. Enjoy in the sense you cannot do rest of your other areas perfectly. First is physical fitness is important. That means you need to have right kind of a diet, right kind of a exercise one has to do. And second thing is that you need to have professional fitness. So whatever profession you are taken up, give best. At the same time, don't get addicted to that. Don't work for the paychecks. Work for such that you can sustain your family and yourself, not go beyond. So professional fitness, give your best, use your intellect. Next comes is your financial fitness. You need to be having enough to take care of your family, and for that you need to put your efforts, right? And then comes your social fitness. Social fitness comes what I can give back to the society, not that I am so selfish that what is served for me. So that kind of mentality will not take you anywhere. So you need to have social fitness, help others, do it as a seva bhav, and give back to the society. Because human beings, we are human beings, our natural nature is to give. So that is what we need to inculcate. And last, but this is the one that should come first, but is spiritual fitness. All fitness, 5 fitness one should have. And as part of this course, if not, I would give that all the 5 fitness one should have, and we should be able to inculcate this. With that, I will end. I know it is nearing 9. I have gone beyond my capacity and my time to really put all these things together. Please forgive me if there were any mistakes in bringing this out. And any 1 or 2 questions I can take. If not, we can end for today. No questions at all. Oh, I was expecting this from Ramesh Prabhu. Okay, go ahead, Prabhu.
I started this introduction reading, Prabhuji, and
Prabhuji, we are talking about any questions to the discussion that we did. After that, we'll go for that one. First, let's go with the some of the things that we discussed now.
no,
Okay, anybody? Any questions, concerns? Chandrika Mataji, what standard you are studying, Chandrika?
9th standard, Prabhuji.
Oh, 9th standard. Very nice. Good. Thank you for joining today.
Thank you, Guru Prabhuji.
Okay. So attend every day. And I was thinking, I was telling to other kids also, I'll do exclusive classes for kids. So we'll do it one day. I'll have weekly sessions for you. So
Okay,
I
Prabhuji.
promise I wanted to do it, and I will do it. Please remind me. From next week onwards, if not sooner or later, I have to do. So I'll plan it. So we'll have some
Yeah.
class.
Okay, Prabhuji.
Thank you, Chandrika, for joining. Okay, no other questions. Then I
have one question, Prabhuji. Yeah, of course, for elders, also we need to get rid of the addiction of mobile. But is there anything that for children specifically, which will engage them, which
See,
can be?
I was thinking, how can I really teach my kid to have interest in Bhagavad Gita? I myself was struggling once upon a time. Then I just gave up, because because they are going to college, their influence, their batchmates are different. So then I just gave up. Then when I started taking these classes, and when I was waking up early in the morning, 5:30, 5 o'clock and 4:30 like that, for these chanting sessions, and earlier when I doing japa and taking these classes, and everybody was getting more or less excited. Then slowly was taking up this Krishna consciousness. So for kids, you should not tell them saying that do this, do this, do this, because they in fact our education system is such that if somebody says that you do this, The other way around, they say that, no, why should I do? Because rebellious nature is as part of our education system. Don't respect elders. Whenever somebody hits in the beats a child in US, immediately they'll call 911. And there was a time when I was there in US, there were I know this family, and his father, he had a child who was 3 years old, but he was born there, and he was 3 years old, and he was so troublesome that his parent is of my age, and he got a proper education where he knew that we need to take care of our kids and discipline them properly, and he used to really scold him, and sometimes he used to give him some kind of a hand. He used to beat him, no, but not with the intention to harm him, but to ensure that he is disciplined. But what happened in US is that this boy was 5 years old, and he was 6 years old, and he was going to school also. First thing they teach in the school is that if your father or your mother or anybody misuses their capacity of crossing their limit of beating you or scolding you, immediately you need to do 911 call. So what happened is that this boy did call 911, and twice it happened. Third time they said, if you are repeating this one more time, and if this happens, you will be put in the jail, and also they will fine you, and you will be working, but you will be paying for all his tuition fee. We will put him in some hostel, the boy, and you will need to pay the money. So immediately he decided that this is not the place I wanted to be. He came back to India, and he couldn't really control that anger, because he left everything for this boy. And what for? Just to discipline him. And he left everything. As soon as he got down from the airport, when he came to the airport, he started beating this boy. Then there was a policeman there, and this boy, small boy, called, come with my, this is what is happening. Then policeman came and asked what happened. No, he's beating me. Then the policeman said, who is this who is beating you? He's my father. If your father will not beat you, who will beat you? That's what this policeman said. So, see, earlier, I remember my maths teacher used to beat me up on my hand if I don't give some formulas or don't tell certain things. I used to get beatings. And that has really been a blessing in my life, that I could learn certain things. And they used to do it not because of grudges. They wanted to really discipline us. And my father also, mother also, they used to. But again, nowadays, we do not have that kind of a relationship, and we are not able to do it. So unfortunately, that's where we are. Again, this will go on if we keep on continuing. If you do not have any other question, then we'll do a break for today. And yes, Ramesh Prabhu, you had some question with regard to your assignment. Yeah.
Yes, I just started reading this introduction in Bhagavad Gita. So I have a feeling that it is just to link up all the chapters. So how to put it diagrammatically? It seems I have to link up all the chapters to this introduction, or how exactly?
Okay.
Rather, I would just I'm planning to do like a management mapping.
See,
Okay,
I am telling
this,
you,
this.
I wanted to share this with all of you. There are some Matajis and Prabhujis also sending me these some of the artifacts that they are giving as part of the assignment, and asking me, Prabhuji, are you satisfied? They are asking me the same, are you satisfied? Whatever is that good enough for my presentation? What I'm going to present is that, can you just tell me, give me your feedback? I am telling you one thing. See, my feedback, my inputs already given, what you need to do. And what you need to do is already clear. So you don't have to satisfy me. What the litmus test is that, are you satisfied with your work that you are giving? That means to say, if you are giving summary of chapter 1, if some kid like Riddhi Mataji or Chandrika Mataji who come and ask, can you tell me what is there in chapter 1? In simple terms, can you explain me? You should be able to explain. So if you are not able to explain 5 minutes about the chapter, what is there in this chapter, what is that you are grasping then? So this entire exercise is not to justify whether I am satisfied or not, or some other person is satisfied. Are you satisfied? Can you tell what is the summary of one chapter? Can you not tell what is the summary of introduction? What is covered in introduction? What is the central theme of introduction? Introduction central theme is that purpose of Bhagavad Gita. That is what Srila Prabhupada is telling as part of introduction. What is covered? It is an internal education that he is giving it. And who are the people who are getting this internal education? It could be a jnani can get it, a dhyani can get it, or a bhakta can get it. And how can you qualify that he is a bhakta, he is a jnani, and he is a dhyani? That is all what he is telling. And in addition to that, eternal education is telling you from where all this information has come and who is qualified to take, very important, who is qualified to take this education. So I'm just telling based on my reading, my inference. So whatever is coming in my mind when I read the introduction, I'm telling you. So similarly, you read it and make some diagram, a mind map diagram, which will really, when you see it, you should be able to tell the summary. So that is the whole idea, because this kind of a see, I remember when I used to go to these exams, exams which I used to do in my BTech and MTech and all this. It was like after the exams, I used to throw the books outside. I would just relax. Why? Because it is like going, it is like when your stomach is so upset and when you vomit, you are so relieved. And that is the feeling that you get when you are done with your exam. You have vomited everything, whatever is really bothering you, and just you are freed now. That kind of feeling. So we do not want that kind of a feeling when you do give your exam. So that is the reason the conventional exam I have not conducted this time. Like multiple choice question, you mug up certain things and make some choices. I have not done that. This is really, really going to benefit you. I'm telling you, if you follow this assignment, do what I'm saying, not that I'm great, but this has really helped me. I'm just putting that towards you because I'm sure it will help you. So make whatever endeavor, small endeavor, whatever little understanding you have, put that into the pictorial form. Just go and express it out freely. What other person will think, whether my communication skills are good or not, doesn't matter. So I was talking to Premlata Mataji. She has not come today. She said, I cannot write because I'm a Malayali and I can only know Malayalam, but I can speak a little bit of English. So what should I do? But I wanted to contribute. She's 60, 65 years old, Mataji. But I enthusiastic, she was saying, how can I contribute? Then I said, what do you want to do? How do you want to contribute? I am going to speak. Because I cannot give you any summary writing this and that because I don't know English writing, but I can speak a little bit. So then I said, okay, do it. So similarly, each one of you are capable enough to do it. And whatever way you wanted to come and do it, do it. 5 minutes is given, 2 minutes for question answers. So yeah, express yourself and be. Yeah.
Excuse me, Prabhuji.
Yeah.
Regarding introduction, that is more than so many chapters, Prabhuji. Please give us 3 topics in that one. Each person is sufficient. Because only 1 minute is we have to allot for that one, Prabhuji.
So Prabhuji,
complete introduction, it is having many points to be taken up. That is why only 3, because of the time constraint, any 3.
Prabhuji, I am telling you one thing, one more time I am repeating. The entire point of giving you assignment is make you go and read it. Get in touch with Srila Prabhupada. Read Bhagavad Gita book. 1. My intention is not that you come here and speak about it so much. That's not my intention. When I said introduction, you need to create one pictorial summary. At least you will go now and read. And I told you yesterday also, our approach is not bottom-up approach. No, our approach is top-down approach. That means to say, top-down approach meaning, can you not tell 3-4 big items? What is there in Bhagavad Gita? Sorry, what is there in introduction chapter? What Srila Prabhupada has covered? Can you not say that?
Prabhuji,
No,
that is what
please,
I am also
no,
requesting
Prabhuji,
same thing,
listen,
Prabhuji, not full
listen.
introduction.
Prabhuji, you are not getting the point. You are more than elderly person for me, but still I'm sorry, I'm stopping you. But what I'm trying to bring in here is that approach should be top-down approach. That is where you get the essence. What I'm saying is that, can you not tell me from the introduction, what are the main 5 areas what Srila Prabhupada has focused?
Always remember Krishna, don't forget Krishna.
No. That is not what I'm saying. What are the main modules what Srila Prabhupada is covering as part of introduction chapter? That's my question. Can somebody get me what I'm saying? Anybody?
Prabhuji, could you repeat? I was with my mom.
Yeah, Ramesh Prabhu, you need to pay attention. This is not for the first time. Okay, please continue. So what I'm saying is that as part of introduction chapter, Srila Prabhupada has covered 4 areas, important areas as per your understanding. What are those 5 areas? Under that, he might have elaborated. See, writing any chapter also needs this kind of an approach. What is that?
Where I am standing in the introduction, there I've reached the Rasa Bhav and Bhakti.
See, I'll tell you what.
Who am I? What is my relationship with God and what is consciousness?
Okay, let me put it this way. Now, I know I'm not supposed to discuss this because you have to come up and see, I'll tell you. From my perspective, again, you need not really say that the same thing, or you might differ from me. From my perspective, again, introduction, the 4 areas where Srila Prabhupada has emphasized, and he's elaborated rest of the things. First one, as from me, attain highest perfection in life. He has given how to attain highest perfection in life. That is one module. Under that, he might have explained so many things. He might have said how you can get it, what is the purpose, this and that. But attain highest perfection in life is one module I'm taking. That is top-down approach. Second module I've taken is that no factual position of the living entities. Who you are, what factual position of the living entities is the second module. Under that, he has told so many things. The third module I said is that provide eternal education to all. So, and now you can say, how can the eternal education be provided to all? Eternal education means it has come from, he's talking about Guru Parampara. He's talking about so many things. What are the qualifications one has to have to get this eternal education? But again, under one heading. So the last one I have captured is that identify and classify transcendentalists. Identify and classify transcendentalists. He's talking about Jnanis, the Dhyanis and Bhaktas. And he was kind of categorized. So, see, your approach should be top-down approach. That most of the time, Sharda Mataji, what you also did, I told earlier also, yours is bottom-up approach. So bottom-up approach is good. You have to write it down, whatever you are reading sometimes, or make mark on that. But again, now analyze and bring one high-level theme for that in a logical way. That becomes modules. I know it is tough. It is not easy to read this way and analyze this way. But if you can follow this approach, you can able to summarize any chapter for that matter. You take about the chapter 1. So doubt is the acronym we have used. D is for Duryodhana and Dhritarashtra. O is for omniscience results. U is for what is that used for? uncertainty with regards to Arjuna, and DOU BT. B is for bewilderment, T is for what? T is for turning point. So how easy it is to remember. At the same time, I am given this kind of headings and created a word out of it. So now similarly you can do whatever. So see, you might fail in this particular assignment the way you're doing, but that is what Krishna is saying. Do your swadharma, paradharma bhayavaha. That means just because somebody else done it some other way doesn't mean that you have to follow. For you, whatever you feel to follow this approach and get what you are going to deliver, that is what you need to give. Don't worry about what others have done, what others way that people are. If you do it now, this will really help you. I know I have gone beyond my time limit also. I presume that this is all clear to all of you. Is that can we agree on that, or still you really have some big debate on any of this? I know. Okay, chhod do. Prabhuji is not getting our viewpoint. Is that what your view also? Yeah, Veer Hanumanlu Prabhu, forgive me. Please let me know now.
Hello.
Veer Hanumanlu garu, చెప్పండి సార్. ఓకే అంటారా? మీరు ఏ విధంగా అనుకుంటారో?
Problem is time constraint, Prabhuji, because now itself Prabhuji has taken 3 minutes for explaining that one. But we are given only 1 minute. We are newcomers and freshers, Prabhuji.
ప్రభుజీ, నేను చెప్పేది ఏంటి అని అంటే, మీరు 1 minute లో మీరు అక్కడ ప్రెజెంటేషన్ చేసేస్తారని చెప్పలేదు నేను. What I was telling is that when you make this summary, you will put quality time for yourself. The purpose is not for you to come and deliver 1 minute everything introduction. No, the purpose is that you go and investigate and do analysis and get that, build your muscle. And you are not, see, that is the means. అది ఇస్తే గానీ మీరు పని చేయరని నేను చెప్తున్నా. You can, everybody get this point. The assignment is only a trigger to go and read, which is what you are not doing. And when you, unless until you put it in this fashion, in pictorial way, you will not go and churn, read it with that kind of a intensity. So that is what I am planning to do. Not that I can give you 10 minutes for introduction if that is what it is, but that is not the purpose. You send the assignment. If you want, we will give a lot of time in later. See, that's the reason I said, if somebody can give more than 1 chapter, give your summaries. More, and some like Gordhan Prabhu wanted to give for all 6 chapters. So I said, yes, fantastic. That is really good. You can do it. So target. So time is not the constraint, Prabhu. Take your time. See, this discussion was happening for last 2 weeks. When was this assignment assigned to you? 2 weeks back. Kali Prabhav, Prabhu. So please focus. If you sit down and nobody is asking you to give you perfection, just go through it and give whatever viewpoint you have. Nobody is saying that we'll give you 100 out of 100 or 10 out of 100. No marks at all in one way. That marks also, I was just putting it to encourage you, to make you serious. Not that I do not have any intention to really tell you that he is excellent, he is lower, this. No competitive attitude, no marking system. I'll remove marking system if that is the case. Okay, Prabhu, Veeramanlu Prabhu, we are done now. Hope I made my point. One last time. Is that okay, Prabhu? Veeramanlu, I cannot go to sleep if you are not satisfied.
Okay, okay, Prabhu.
Please understand my inner feeling. Okay. So,
Prabhuji, 5 minutes for introduction and 5 minutes for the chapter, like that?
No, Prabhu. Introduction, you just have to send me the what do you say, the pictorial representation. For just 1 or 2 minutes, if you wanted to speak, you can just speak. If not, skip it. No issues. But if you have worked on it, that is what I want. So more to do with your work. Have you really read that thoroughly is my point. If you have read it, then it's good. You don't have to do anything. I might ask 1 or 2 questions on introduction. That is where question answers come. Question answers is very to really see to that you have read thoroughly or not. Your pictorial representation is all to make you read thoroughly. That's the whole point. So question answers make an important role. I'll be asking questions, audience will be asking questions. So be prepared, read thoroughly. There is no shortcut for success. There is only one place where success comes before. What is that? What did they say? Success, there is only one place where success comes before hard work. Which is that place where success comes before hard work? That only is in the dictionary. That's what they say. Is that correct? Okay. So we will do one round of
Failure, Prabhu.
A failure.
Failure. Success comes before failure, right?
Hard work, they say. Hard work comes, success comes, see, success comes after, okay, before. Okay, whatever. So the prerequisite for your success is hard work.
Failures are the stepping stone to success.
That anyways is there. But this, I remember somewhere, when unless and until you do hard work, success will not come. You have to toil, Prabhu. You have to really, Krishna is not going to see how good you are at presentation. He will see whether you did your best. Did I give my best of the time what I have? How much time you are giving for Bhagavad Gita? Are you giving? How much time you are using it for other means? Seeing TV, seeing mobile? How much time you are spending? Are you really seeing that? That is what Krishna will see. Krishna will see how sincere you are. If 10 hours is there at your disposal, how much you have used to in your swadhyaya and seva and sadhana. That is what is life. Okay, Prabhu, thank you so much. We'll do 1 or 2 minutes of kirtan and we'll end. Hare Krishna, Namah Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Nitinamine Namaste Saraswati Devi
Gauravani Pracharine Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna,
Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare
हरे कृष्ण महामंत्र की जय। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय। श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। धारणेश प्रभु जी की जय। शारदा माता जी, अनिल फैमिली की जय। थैंक यू वेरी मच माता जी फॉर जॉइनिंग all of you. So see you all tomorrow for the food for all session. Thank you very much. And tomorrow morning, please come for the japa session. That is the real food for the soul. And we can discuss about the other topics at later point of time. But thank you for patiently hearing. Please forgive me once again. Have a good night. Hare Krishna. Dandavat pranam.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Dandavat pranam.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Dandavat pranam to all.